What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how I built 28 new skills for my AI agents in a day and why skills are the new thing that you should be selling. They are the new automation. What's up, guys? Jeff here. I built 28 new skills in a day. And I realized I had been building the wrong AI products. I was trying to build fancy architectures, fancy systems, when all I really needed to do was create a simple markdown file. And so this presentation is just going to walk over a couple things here. We're going to help you build a personal AI skill library with different context bundles that basically turn Claude or any CLI agent into your specialized agency team, callable with a single slash command. We're going to go over why skills are not tools and why that distinction destroys most AI agency builds before they start. We're going to go over the anatomy of a context bundle. What are stable files? What are SOPs? What are constraints on your voice and output formats? We're going to do a live demo of one of my favorite skills, which is scaffolding or outlining YouTube videos, and how to run it in real time, and how I produce this video itself. This video is brief with that skill. I'm going to show you my full skills library, what I have right now, what's working, 30 different skills across 8 domains, all built in one session, and why this is kind of game changer for automating every single business across every industry and every vertical. And that's why building an AI agency and doing AI installations is a huge opportunity right now, because we're just automating work. Then I'm going to show you the business model behind all of this, what agencies should sell, what are the deliverables, how skills will sell repeatably, and skills will actually self-learn and self-improve, and what that means when the gap closes. And so at the end of this video, you're going to get custom code that I drafted for you guys. It's going to be a creator skill, and this skill is going to help you draft your own YouTube editing skill set. So like it's basically for creators who do a lot of content, and it's going to help you draft out your own workflow, your own instructions for how you like to do your videos, and then put it into a repeatable process. So you're basically just going to download it, drop it in a file, fill in your own paths. You can do it with AI and run your first, fully AI outlined, or scaffolded is the word I like to use, video today. So just going back to this, basically all the input I have is just I have an idea for a video, which I'm also using AI to do, like competitor analysis, comments analysis, and I just have my own ideas and my own content that I want to create. And then I basically just call this one skill in AI. I just call this one skill command. So it's a slash command, right? So if I go into AI here and I just say slash scaffold, or actually it's at, if I just do at scaffold YouTube, it'll pull up the I might have spelled it wrong, scaffold. And here's this skill. So if I just call this, it's just gonna call that file, and that's as simple as it is to run a skill. So just going back here, I have the video idea, and then I call that skill, and then it generates, well, it loads in context. So it loads in the ICP, who I'm actually talking to, my own frameworks, my own story, right? Information about me, hooks, what never to say, etc. And just loads in a bunch of context across, basically inside of your skill. It's an index or a cluster of other MD files, which are just plain English files, plain information. It bundles all that information together. A skill file is an index, and it has everything you need inside of it. Pulls in all that context. That's called context engineering. Puts it into Claude, Anthropic. It can work for Codex. It can work for other big models like Claude or Codex. And then it outputs a couple files for me. One, it gives me a thumbnail prompt that I can put into like OpenAI or Grok images and get a new thumbnail ready for the video. It gives me an agenda file. So I like to run in all my videos, just show what I'm going to cover in my video. So it actually wrote this for me, this file. It gives me a visual build. So the AI actually generated this graph, this visual for me using another skill. I'm not sure if it used Excalibur or Hyperframes. It used one of the other skills that I already gave my AI. So this was already drafted. It did research that I'm going to show you later in the video, actual, like from I think you could call it ArcZiv, whatever you call it. ARXIV did research, pulled real papers that I'm going to reference briefly through the video. Different authority, because I'm like pretty unknown. And so other authorities that are like saying the same things, that helps the video get credibility. And then a video brief, like the outline of how the whole video is going to go. So anyways, why don't we just get started with the first section, and maybe we'll come back to this, but this is the different skills library that I'm going to show you. So all the different skills across content creation, writing and voice, sales, business development, knowledge and research, funnels and marketing, professional niches, like stuff for verticals like lawyers and accountants, different mindset stuff. And all these skills are here in my skills library. And basically, I'm just going to show you how one of them works, my favorite one, which is building out YouTubes. So this is the actual file. Let me close this guy out or just pull him over. So this is the actual file we're going to go over, and I'll show you how this works and how context loading works. Okay, so if you're an AI agency and you're running builds, the distinction between what a tool is, a tool would be something like a repo, like being able to deploy like code, like a Python file. So one thing you'll notice is what a skill is. It's just an MD file, but really all it is, you'll notice, it's just context, 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 context. Everything is context, but it's also steps. So you'll see this: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. It's a workflow. It's standard operating procedures, step by step, showing what I want it to do in what order and what sequence. And then what you'll notice is for each of the steps, there's context in each step. Step 3, context. Step 4, context. Step 5, context. This is what I think a skill is. And from my research, that I'm going to show you some research soon. But basically what's happening is within each step, you can give skills. So let's look at step 2, for example. Step 2, I'm giving it context, and I'm giving it a path to a different skill, which is video editing. And within video editing, I have tools like Hyperframes is a Python package, or it's a coding package. And I can do animated MP4s and stuff like that. So it's a completely different file that I'm pointing that has, it's like a tool it can call or use, right? Same thing here, XCaliDraw, that's a tool. And so you can set up these different pathways, and every single file is basically showing, okay, here's the tool, here's the path, here's to access the tool, here's what the tool is used for. And then when you're building context, you're aggregating and you're indexing and you're pulling in file paths to all these different things that it needs to know in order to get the thing done. And so really, it really is context engineering. It's not agentic. It's not multi-agent sequences anymore. This is all one agent, one knowledge base with a lot of indexing. And these are groups or clusters of context. And so as I go through this workflow, I just want you to understand that structure, because when I first got started, I was completely overwhelmed with all the file paths. I thought this was super complicated, and I thought reading this was super complicated, like I had to know all these paths. AI actually, if you have good file trees, it'll just know what the file paths are for you, and it'll be able to read file paths, and it can read 1,000,000 times faster than we do. So we don't really need to know that much, just general structure. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab a content idea for a YouTube video, because I already have a task running in Claude Desktop. So if you look at, I have a scheduled task, 10 daily content ideas, and it pulls it into Notion for me. So what I'm going to do is go into my Notion and click on my daily content ideas. I'm just going to pick one and put it in as an example. So we'll just go with this one. So I'm going to take this content idea, and then I'm going to go into my command line interface. I'm going to call my skill, and I'm going to give you guys the ability to generate your own skills here. The link's in the description. All I'm going to do is I'm going to say, call my skill, then I'll just say create the outline for this video idea, and then I'll just paste in the video idea and then run it. Now what's going to happen is it's going to go through all the different steps. So it's going to go through and work through the workflow. It's going to look at the code or systems that it can build from, identify target audiences, and just go through the whole step of everything. And eventually it's going to output all the different frames for the video. So it's going to go through all my steps, and I can explain some of the steps, but this is kind of unique for how I like to do my videos. and the kind of structure and framework that I like to go through. But it's going to start going through the steps. And if you'll notice, it's running its own multi-agent. So it's one line, but lob is an agent, read is an agent, and it's pulling in all the context it needs. So based on this, it's able to go in and just query everything and pull in everything it needs. And I'll show you the actual output for the video that I'm filming right now. It's a little bit meta, but I think you could appreciate it. So I have a folder, it's just my YouTube video lab. And then I have this video here, which this is what it's titled. And it outputted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. So the agenda, this file is what you're seeing here on what I'm going to cover in the video, the deliverable, what it's all about, who is it for, the architecture, which is an HTML file, which is literally it generated this file. It's right here. All I have to do is pull it up. It gave me actual legitimate research, so all I have to do is pull up this file here, control click and link, and I'm actually going to go over this in a second. I'm actually going to reference some of this research here in this video. It gave me some clips that I can clip in to add some extra authority and credibility to my points, right? And then just a whole brief on the whole flow of the video. So everything that I'm going to go over, from the thumbnail to the research papers to the clips like Peter Steinberger, Karpathy, to Jensen Huang, how I'm going to go through the tutorial, how I'm going to frame everything, frame by frame, step by step, how I'm going to write it all, and the call to action at the end. And even the thumbnail prompts and how I'm going to do everything with the thumbnails. So you could see how outlining everything is powerful. It gives you a structure and a framework to consistently put out content every single day. So this is a kind of video that I would put, in the school group alone, or I would put into like paid customers, because this is really what runs a lot of our business, right? So this is like really premium content. So let me go back to see if this is finished with the next video. What you're going to see is when this finishes, a brand new video is going to come into YouTube Lab, and we're going to see it get populated with all these, and I would show you how that goes into my process. But basically, for you, so what I have for you today that you can actually download is this creator pipeline skill. Now, this is an entire template or framework that you can fill out and link to your own paths that kind of shows what information, how to build context, how to build workflows for creating not only YouTube, but any kind of video. And so if you want to grab this, the link is in the description, and it kind of goes through step by steps how I'm recommending going through it, but you could obviously customize it. So this is actual research. It was a research paper on how language models can teach themselves to actually use tools. In the brief that I got, which is this, what it wanted me to say to you is that models can learn to use tools in a self-supervised way with tool documentation, which is basically what MD files are, what skills are. It's instructions plus tool documentation, serving as the only source of guidance about what the tool does and when to call it. So the AI reads everything and then just decides, it reasons. And so these are it's being trained on self-generated examples of how and when to use them. So AI is writing a lot of its own skills, right? I'm telling it what skill I want and kind of the outline, and then it writes its own skill file, and then I give it tool use and API keys and things like that it needs, or different code repos that it needs. And then the other paper that I wanted to show you was this one, and this one is on prompt engineering techniques. And the main point here is prompt engineering is a new programming paradigm where the developer writes instructions in natural language that are interpreted by the model at inference time. So if we had what we built is a way to package whatever techniques apply to each output type and make them reusable across sessions. So everything that you've documented, all of your processes are reusable as skills over and over, and all the skills stack and start to layer and have different contexts, and this is how you can get really complex workflows. So anyways, this is what I have for you. If you want to download this, it's a downloadable outline or scaffold for AI builders who want to make YouTube tutorials that sell their work, that sells your code, supports your code with authority and real research and visualization, and actual demos. And it's just an idea for an AI system that I'm building. It diagrams the system, it writes down the agenda, which is super important for setting expectations in your YouTube videos. It creates the thumbnail for you. So finds research, checks whether you're having, whether you have code. So I would just run this into your own CLI and see what outputs and information it needs from you, and just run it from there, see if it works. So thanks for watching the video. We'll see you guys in the next one.